Cut.
Welcome to Think Tank. Each day we share the news and open dialogue and discuss how it might affect the business world. We speak with different leaders on crisis navigation and management, as well as experts in professional and personal self-betterment. It's meant to be a break. It's meant to be learning and sharing of good news and ideas to start people moving forward. It's called Think Tank, and today is Happy Hour, where we encourage you to join with your favorite adult beverage or smoke and share the news. Today we have Robbie Sawyer in the top left corner, hailing from his backyard. Robbie is a global thinker and leader at Thinker Society, where he helps people and companies put together programs and experiences so that they can start getting to their better ideas faster. There's Alberto Elizondo, sports photographer and automobile photographer. Maybe it's hearsay right now, but he might be shooting something next week, maybe, possibly. And there is Doug Carroll, happy to be here. Corporate advisor, CEO, coach, helps people in times of crisis and challenge put together coherent plans so that they too can move forward. There's Kimball Anderson, en route to another creative production where he will help you and your message ensure to be delivered perfectly. Thank you, Kimball. And now, starting lineman for the Dallas Cowboy, Mike Toman, photographer extraordinaire, sporting his cap today. Mike shoots all sorts of editorial, is that fair, Mike? And advertising, photography, images.
Manufactured feelings.
Manufactured feelings. And T. Scott Anderson, triathlete, videographer, photographer, sports enthusiast, hailing from Dallas, Texas, where he captures all sorts of stories and shares those. He's a storyteller. Thanks for joining, T. Scott. At this point, we like to jump in and talk about what's happening in the near future. We've got some guests joining us next week that'll be helping us understand best ways to communicate with those in our company during these trying times. We've got a coach that'll help us understand leadership during these times, going to join us. That's Dane, and a few others. So do check back. We'll be sending some information out about that soon. At this time, we normally like to talk about the news and what's happening. And this, on Friday, we like to look back at what's happened as well. So who's got something to share?
Let's lead it off with sports. Last night's draft.
I like to start off with my Lysol bleach Fabulosa cocktail.
Yeah. Nice. Ingest it slowly.
Did you go with the grape Fabuloso, or did you go with the cherry Fabuloso?
The blue.
You're going to chase it with light?
Yeah.
Chase it with some light.
Yeah.
Our president says you can drink disinfectants and kill the virus.
Hey,
yeah.
Isn't it crazy when your first name is CD and people misspell it?
Yeah.
Right? Should be the easiest name in the world to spell.
His name is Sedarius, but his junior high coach couldn't say it, so they just called him CD.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Isn't he from Houston? Is that right, Mike?
He was at Foster High School. He went where I used to grow up. So it's
that's awesome.
Bullshire, Texas, really. I mean, they say Richmond, but it's out in the sticks.
And then he figure out quickly that he needs to have one cell phone.
Right. Mama doesn't want that. Mama needs a phone.
He does not want that cell phone. At some point, that story will come out. Hopefully, he'll share with. I mean, there was only one thing that could have been.
Yeah. So that guy, I mean, he was pretty powerful, right? Oklahoma. He was a dynamic beast. So we're looking at potentially a nice lineup of receivers.
Mike, how did he fall? How did he fall all the way to 17?
I have no idea. I was surprised. Jerry was smiling his ass off, though.
I know.
He won another jackpot.
Hey, did anybody hear Jerry call in on the ticket this morning?
No.
No.
Oh, clearly it was fake Jerry, but
it was a fake Jerry.
Yeah. He's like, Jerry just not sure exactly how he fell to 17. He's like, man, I hope those other teams don't know something that I don't, or that
Yeah.
He's oh my well. Hopefully that's not. Hopefully, I mean I don't know how he to 17, but yeah, he was a stud.
I think everybody was starving for linemen, and that's I saw a lot of linemen go, and that's like it's just they're not growing on trees.
Yeah.
A good
I
way.
got to say, I was surprised and happy to see the production value because they're probably the fourth or fifth major television event that's had to figure out how to incorporate virtual, and they did a good job. And even Roger Goodell, I mean, he was much more pleasant in that environment than his normal pump himself up on stage.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Did you see the numbers? 37% increase in viewership this year. Average 15 million viewers with a peak of 20 million right before the news.
Now, is that all three networks combined?
That's a good point, but I'm going to bet it is. They didn't refer to ESPN or just ABC. They said total viewership. So,
but then you look at what your options were. There wasn't much else on, and people were dying for it. Yeah.
And this is me maybe being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but there were a couple times listening to Goodell make the announcements, and I kind of felt like at times it was pre-recorded.
That's because Goodell sounds like he's pre-recorded.
No, I just wonder, it's interesting. You think back to the debacle on Monday night or whenever they did that, it's just it was supposed to, it wasn't a mock. I mean, clearly they didn't make picks, right? They just went through whatever protocol they would normally go through.
That could have been pre-recorded. It could have been. Well, not the name.
Yeah, not the names, but
it looked like he was on teleprompter.
Well,
for sure.
It looked like he changed clothes too. He was wearing suit and tie through the first 10, and then he went to sweater and shirt. And I was like, did he change clothes? I thought
was that really his basement, or was that a studio?
I don't know. But that
they said it was his basement.
Yeah, he said it was his basement.
Yeah, but the dude, I mean, he's got a nicer basement than my whole house.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the crazy thing too, to see all the families that were at home. You're like, you realize you're on national television with everyone looking,
and you're throwing popcorn all over somebody's head.
Yeah, and right off the rip, can we talk about the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah,
in that little. Surely they were goofing on all of us, right? I mean, surely that was not the setup they had for that guy.
Yes, because he showed it. He was on First Take 2 days ago, and he actually was there, and he said, guys, I've never been a tech guy. And he goes, they sent this in a box, and then we got it set up, and then he literally reaches up, around the ring light, and he turns it around and shows the monitors, shows his kid. And he was talking about it like, all of us at Best Buy, like he was just geeking out and having fun. And he said it just got there like 2 days before, and he was trying to figure it all out.
And was Jerry on his boat?
Yes, that was his
on his yacht.
$250 million. Yes.
Yeah.
$250 million.
Where did I see a split screen? Might have been online. They showed the room before they had converted it. And it was definitely on the ship. So they basically took what Parlor or whatever, who knows on that thing, and converted it to. But it was, I mean, that was pretty dope. But then you guys, I'm sure have seen this by now. I'm sorry, but Cliff Kingsbury wins the award.
Oh, killer!
Oh my God! Did you see that, Sam? Do you have your computer? Well, my God. So the head coach of the Cardinals, who clearly is on a palatial, has some crazy mansion in Scottsdale, they said, just this crazy over the top beautiful shot of him in this beautiful white sofa, big huge wall of glass wall, and then just outside the glass wall, outdoor fireplace burning, but super modern.
Yeah, it looked like
unbelievably modern.
It looked like he set it up for a Town and Country shoot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Architectural Digest, right?
Yeah, all right, that's even better.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then you got what's his name? You got Belichick. Looked like he was crammed into the corner of his mom's kitchen.
Yep.
Where else would Darth Vader be?
My wife actually hung in and was watching. She could care less about football. but every time they cut to a new place, she was going, "That's what they've got behind them. This is what the house looks like. How much do they make?"
And my family got mad at me because this is, I guess I wasn't setting a good example for my young son, but they show the very first picture of the LSU quarterback sitting in the living room of his mom and dad's house, and they've got that recliner that's got some nasty chair cover on it, and the god awful curtains in the back,
and her mom's barefoot.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And I
TV, you're on TV.
It's the day you got made. That's what you're going to be remembered for. Is that?
Yeah,
that's true.
They're from Ohio.
Right. Top three picks for all Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's
three.
right.
It was. Is that right? 3 out of 5.
No, they're Ohio guys. Like the quarterback.
That's
from
right.
Ohio.
True.
But the third pick was actually.
I thought Burrow started at Ohio State and then transferred.
He did.
Transferred out of Ohio State.
So you got the first 3 picks: the quarterback, the defensive lineman, and the defensive back were all Ohio State.
Yeah, but the guy for the defensive back is from Grand Prairie or something. He's from around here.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Yep. So where did he go to high school though?
He's probably a Gopher.
No, dude. Maybe the Golden. What are they? Just Gophers, right? Grand Prairie Gophers.
The Gophers.
And then how did they select when they would cut to the fans and they had like the grid of 12? I wonder how they got them, because they were all completely themed out. They were all completely framed correctly and all branded. So that was kind of fun.
I like Mike McCarthy's shot. He was kind of like
he is.
And Jerry told him to put on a suit. Boy, and that did not look comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
big guy, little suit.
ESPN was talking about the Gatorade wax cup for the pen holder in McCarthy's office there. He's had this Gatorade wax cup with just all kinds of pins shoved in the top of them.
Oh, right.
I mean, but it was cool though. You're right, Sam, to see people in their natural. I mean, as natural, as it is, like the San Francisco GM. With his daughters in the background and other.
Can you imagine? I was just thinking of the technical director in that thing with however many feeds he had to manage.
Oh Lord!
And then on top of that, each team had 27 individual camera shots. I mean, Robbie and Sam and I Alberto, were you there? No. Yes. When we went to Fenway.
Yeah.
And we got it, and we went in the truck. That was just to manage a baseball game, which was overwhelming. But this thing was a hell of a switch. Wow.
Hey, so Kimball, what does that setup look like in a nutshell?
Well, you're talking about the multicam switch.
Yeah, I mean, so there's one huge. It's all being.
Well, there's a program.
Where?
There's a program monitor, and there's preview monitors galore, and there's.
Is that at Bristol? Is that at ESPN or where is that?
Yeah.
So.
And all the sources, instead of a camera in a studio, is some intern on a laptop doing a live feed. Yeah, with whoever, and then he says, "Yeah, I got Joe on. Go ahead and take my feed," and it goes to screen.
And as you remember, there's literally sub levels. Teams: the blue team, the red team, the green team, and then there's probably sub levels below that. West Coast or by team. They say, hey, have the Bengal team stand by. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It went very well, I thought.
It
considering.
did.
That's what was cool is there was very little delay. It seemed like there was little delay. And again, I got hooked listening to the ticket this morning, and those guys are pretty good critics. But both of them were like, wow, completely blown away, surprised. A couple people said they liked it better than the live show.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it.
Jets fans were the same.
Did you hit a pothole, Kimball?
Yeah, it's bumpy. Mama, hold this car steady, please. She's trying to do 85 and weave traffic.
Hey, so getting back to the screen in Goodell's basement with all the people on there, Doug, I heard that was a sponsorship deal where you could pay and get on there. Is that right?
Oh, really? No, I hadn't heard that.
I heard that there was a certain amount of money that you could donate, I guess. But Bob Menery, if you guys follow him on Instagram, funny dude, he had a screenshot of Goodell when they were making the Chargers pick and laughing that they couldn't fill up the screen with Chargers fans.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
See that, Mike? Oh, it's funny. They had just the Chargers logo, like, a few different spots where there wasn't a live person. It's pretty funny.
Just a car with a flag on it going by.
Yeah, right. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I had not heard
when
of
is-
that. That's really interesting.
when is round 2? Is that tonight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6 o'clock our time, I
6
think.
o'clock. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what I heard, Doug. That may not be the case, but they evidently generated a ton of donation dollars last night during the.
Yeah, I'd heard that I hadn't heard a total, but they said they'd exceeded their expectations in it. And that's a really cool thing to do this. I mean, I missed the emotion of the kids going on the stage and some of that, but other than that, I thought it was a great production.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so talk about, as we do on our show, moving forward, next year, if we're out of all this mess, how much of that carries through? Because, yeah, you wouldn't do it on your first round, but like tonight, if that was all virtual, it is really cool to go into people's homes and see that excitement and joy. Maybe that carries through.
Well, they've already announced it's back in Vegas, that it's live and in Vegas.
Yeah,
Okay.
the year after next, because next year it's in Cleveland.
Oh, I thought it was next year. I thought they brought it back and then moved to Cleveland.
Yeah, I
No,
thought they
so
did
evidently
2021.
he made a goof too and said that it's going to be back in. I think actually Goodell said it was going to be in Vegas in 2020. That was his mistake.
2022.
But they said it was going to be in 2022 because 21 is already in the work. They hadn't announced 2022 yet. They'd already announced that it was going to be in Cleveland.
Cleveland next year. But I think Sam's point, it's interesting because I think you'll see this is what you start to track, right? And say, what are we going to see out of the necessity that's then sticks that everybody likes?
Yeah.
Because it'll be different. Like if you have the blocks of the fans so they can see more of that kind of stuff, will that stuff stick? That's really a great question.
Yeah, but it also comes down to the dollars of it. I mean, I think there's a lot of money to be made doing it.
Oh, and they always want to make money.
What else do we know?
I think Aaron Rodgers would be a Chicago Bear.
Oh God.
Oh, huh?
God. Hush.
So they went with that Utah State guy as his backup. Is that right?
Or
Yeah, and
replace-
he was actually a year younger than Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre was when they drafted Aaron Rodgers.
But man, they moved up. What did they give up to? They only moved up. They moved up to get that guy too, didn't they?
just a place or two, but yeah, they did.
Okay.
Well, and the thing is that what's odd too is the remaining cap hit on Rodgers. It's not like they can say, okay, well, next year we can just cut him and go. He's a $17 million cap hit for the next 4 years. It's a lot.
They say though that what was the fun? There was somebody said is Aaron Rodgers not going to spend time helping groom this guy like
Favre did.
did not do for him also.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it'll all be all right. It's not going to hurt me to see Green Bay struggle if that's what happens.
I got an interesting article from Dr. P about how people are dealing with Corona and how they're working from home. But I thought one of the funniest things, well, it's not funny. No, this is funny, but the article wasn't. But here is their picture of Corona working at home. So, yeah, do we all need to have masks on right now?
No.
I thought that was great.
Damn.
I mean, it's similar.
Yeah.
You see people driving in their car by themselves with their mask on. I mean, unless they stole the car, do they need the mask on?
Unless they
Yeah, no kidding. Every time I get out and put my mask on, I feel like I'm going to rob somebody. Just
Nice.
put it on. All right. In and out, no one gets hurt.
No, but think about it. As a kid, you always wanted to wear that bandana around. Now you can do it, right?
And then, the other thing is someone needs to figure out for Apple how you can still do facial recognition with the mask on, because apparently the nose is part of it.
Yep, that's exactly right. I was trying to, and then your glasses are all somebody said your glasses are fogging up.
All fogged up.
And then you got to move the mask so you can get the facial recognition on your phone to work.
I get thrown to the wall so fast when I go in.
Thank you, Random.
And there's Dr. P.
That's why I keep using my Motorola flip phone.
Doug, that would be funny if it wasn't the truth.
It would be, wouldn't it?
No, the article was interesting. So it was talking about how people, now that we've sat through this for a month, this is, by the way, episode number 20 of the Think Tank, but it was how people are dealing with it. And some of the interesting stats on that is 85% of respondents said they need more help from employers to deal with this. And 85% they are worried about the current circumstances and going back to work. And that's different than what you hear on the news. Everyone's ready to go.
Oh, no, there's going to be a lot of what we've just started taking back is coronavirus abandonment, that people aren't going to go back. So if you sit here and you start to say, okay, you're in Georgia right now and they're opening up essentially everything, and your job is a hairdresser or a trainer at a gym or any of these things that they're opening up, are you going to go back to work when your employer says so? Or are you just going to go, it's not worth the risk, I'm staying home and keeping unemployment for a while?
Yeah.
What about legally? Legally, people are getting, I heard there was a young lady who contracted it, and her parents, I guess she was a minor. I forgot what company it was, but they're trying to sue her employer for not providing proper protection.
A safe workplace.
Right. Like, I mean, is that borderline OSHA? I mean, if it's like, if you're working around steel, but you didn't tell me to wear steel-toed shoes, I mean, that's common sense, but I mean, how close is that to? Well,
it's going to be real until you get the cases that go through the courts and they make a decision. Yeah. So somebody's going to be the test case. Somebody's going to go in and say it. It's going to either hold or redefine force majeure, hold harmless, all those things that are in your employment contracts and in your purchasing contracts and everything else. But we probably won't know for years that outcome until they get through the legal system with a couple of cases going to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and again, someone has to start setting the standards as to what that's going to look like.
So unless there is somebody in Congress that writes a law that says this is how we're going to view it, and then you challenge that law, it's just going to go through the court system until they set precedent.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting too. The article that I sent talked about in the future people not thinking about handshaking or hugging too much. At the same time, it's an article how important touch is. Touch is important for healing, for stress reduction in hospitals, for health, and yet we're going to be coming back not being too touchy-feely.
Right. Here is that article, by the way, guys. If you want to look at that at some point, it is interesting. All the numbers that are thrown out there and hard to argue. What else?
Tim, what's going on in the mask front?
The mask front, everyone who was kind of interested is now very interested, and meanwhile, prices are going, are going up literally every day. And then China said, about a month ago, China said, look, you have to be registered with us, and you cannot have any markings on your mask that say FDA or CE approved. And so that knocked out 80% of the people. And then on Wednesday night, they said, oh, and by the way, none of your boxes or packaging can have any of that on it. So while we have a truck ready to go, we now have to unload the whole truck and repackage everything so that it doesn't have that on it. So it's really crazy.
Wow. Incredible. The homemade mask market's blowing up, though. I've got a friend of mine who's a photographer. He wanted me to come sew with him, and I was like, I think I'll go help a friend move art instead. But he's blowing up. He took over a bar. One of his friends that owns a bar just not using the space, so they took over the Maple Leaf Bar in downtown Houston, and kind of going crazy with it. And I mean,
and where are they selling through?
Through website. He promised a guy if he got his website up overnight, he'd give him $1 for every mask that was sold.
Ooh, that was a good
Yeah, yeah, and he's already sold 10,000 masks.
Has he
You could have
really?
gotten it up in
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, he's got, every day he's pushing out about 1,500 masks. I mean,
and is it one at a time?
yeah, well, he's got a couple of sewers. I've seen his. If you go
No, but
to,
I mean, is he selling them in packages or? Is
packages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like groups, and he sent some to the military and stuff. I was like, why did you do that? He's like, because they need them. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. Shit. Well, if they can't get armor, they probably can't get masks.
Yeah.
Hey, so here in Dallas, some stores, Alberto, have you been over to Deep Ellum or you been anywhere downtown and seen places open?
No, nothing's open besides CVS and the Royal Blue grocery store. Everything else is pretty. Every time I go by there, the Blacks is open, and so is some of the restaurants, some of the other. Oh my God, the other barbecue places open
But
too.
you can't go into Blacks. You order it and pick it up, right?
No, you can go in and order, and then just take it to go.
So you walk through the whole line and say, I want this and this, and they give it to you in a bag? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you can get the sandwich plate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
and I think
I'll
you can
see
eat out in the picnic area, those picnic tables, but you can't eat it inside.
But what I'm confused about are supposedly now the retail shops. I mean, listen, all along, Home Depot's been open, Sam's, Walmart, even Academy has been open.
Best Buy has been open.
So what are they? So now it's like certain you can open. I guess if you're a private or independently owned.
I don't know when that's official, but I drove to Snyder Plaza today and everything was closed except for the 2 restaurants and Kubi's. And I went into Kubi's, and they only allowed 6 people in at a time.
Oh.
And it was funny. All of the workers had masks on, and they're like Louis Vuitton or Gucci, or I'm sure they're official, but you're already starting to see that happen.
This works really good, guys. You guys should try it.
Is that air fat? I don't have. Is that air fat? I got my wrong glasses on.
Oh, he's narco.
Some hair salon tried to open in North Dallas today and got pushed back.
Really?
Yeah.
Kimball, how's the road? Are there a lot of cars on the road?
It's pretty steady. It's I would say moderate. Every time we've done this now a couple of times, and it basically, you just don't have those 45-minute traffic jams once you get into the big cities. But out on the open road, it's not sparse, but you can make speed.
And are you seeing like gas stations open? Everything's open as far as that's concerned? None of that shut down. McDonald's, Starbucks, everything's wide open.
Yeah, although the other day, this was funny. I tried to go I wanted to go to McDonald's, and I was on foot. And I go to the door, and it says, nope, you got to use the drive-through. So I walk through the drive-through, and the guy says, nope, you got to have a car. I go, so what? I got to buy a car, and then I can get a hamburger.
I don't make the rules.
Well, you get a free shake with that.
I figured that out a long time ago, but I'd had too much to drink that night. That was why I found that out.
Yeah, man, that was weird. So, no, I didn't get my McDonald's.
All right. Anything else to share today, guys?
I'm gonna miss you guys next week.
Yes, well, thank you for working. Send the money home.
Pics.
Send us some pics. Yeah, we want to just live vicariously.
Code Red.
Other people work.
Code Red. Okay.
That's
Don't
better
don't
than
tell
a
us where you are.
better than a code black, though, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that one.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks. Good seeing everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining. Look for updates on who we'll be talking with next week. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Over and out.